Hey, it's Cheryl, and welcome to Secrets of a Survivor podcast, where I'm sharing my story, my challenges, and my learnings along the way, both business and personal. Basically, all the things. If I can do it, then so can you. So I'm here to help you on your way and be the person I wished I'd had. So let's get started with today's episode. Hello, and welcome to episode 7. Today I wanted to talk a little bit about asking for help, because I think it's one of the things that I'm not very good at, and I think a lot of other people are not very good at it as well. I found after leaving my relationship that I needed to be so independent and rely only on myself, because I felt I couldn't rely on anyone else, which stopped me asking for help. I guess I also saw it as a bit of a weakness. I should be able to do all of this myself. I don't need help. Don't need anyone to help me. And I took it to a little bit of the extreme. It's probably been good for me as a person because I've grown so much. But literally, I would try to do everything myself. When I was first moved into my first home, me and the boys, I literally did all the DIY. I did everything myself, even if it took me forever. I guess part of it was because I didn't have spare cash. So any spare cash I did have, I wanted to spend it on the boys, or they needed something. But also I just had this drive of I needed to do it myself, and I can't rely on other people. I need to be able to do this myself. So yeah, that led me to doing some incredible things like putting TVs on walls and building all the furniture and literally doing everything in the house. Which I guess taught me a lot of skills. So I'm not going to beat myself up over that. But there is a time when you actually need to ask for help. It is not a sign of weakness. It's actually a strength, I believe, to ask for help. And it comes in many forms as well, I suppose, asking for help. It's not admitting defeat. It's recognising, first of all, that you can't do everything on your own. As much as we like to think we're superwomen, and we are superwomen in many, many respects, but we cannot do everything on our own. We do need help. And a lot of it for me was not physical help. It was help with me as a person, because I wish I'd asked for help a lot sooner. But me being me, thought I could do everything myself. And I didn't actually ask for help until I hit complete rock bottom, basically. Yeah, I was absolutely at my worst when I finally admitted that I needed help and I needed to reach out. And it was at this point that I reached out, first of all to my doctor to say I was struggling. And I would admit I didn't have the best experience there. I got told to take a break, have a rest. Like, that's going to help. Which does in a little bit, obviously. Taking a break, sometimes we do just need to take a break, take a step back and everything. But what I was asking for was real, proper, tangible help. And I got told to take a break. Which is probably one of the reasons many people don't actually reach out and ask for help in the first place, because they're not actually helped initially. But thankfully, by that point, I realised that I did need help, and I persevered. And I was like, right, well, if the doctor's not going to help me, I'll find help on my own. So the next thing I did was I reached out. I was part of a mummings group on Facebook, and I just reached out on there, said a little bit about how I was feeling. Is there anybody that can help me? And the response I got was amazing, absolutely amazing. I had a lot of messages of I can't help but sending you love, hugs and things like that, which again really helped. It validated me. It validated my feelings for a start, and that I wasn't being stupid. But I also did have a few people reach out to me with recommendations of people to help me. And one particular lady reached out directly, a counsellor, and she recognised from what I said, because obviously she's a trained professional and there are trained professionals to do this, which I guess actually, side note, is something that there's trained professionals in every kind of aspect of the world that can help you with anything. But anyway, I digress. Let's go back to what I was talking about. So in my case, I needed help. I was feeling, I said, I was at rock bottom. I was feeling helpless. I felt like I was useless. Couldn't do anything, that everything was just spiraling out of control. I was in a state, really. So yeah, the counsellor reached out to me, and we got chatting and we had a phone call, and I explained everything, how I was feeling. She obviously probed a little bit because obviously she's a trained professional. She knows what to do to get it out of me. And she said to me then, she said, I think you're experiencing depression and anxiety, which I kind of at the back of my head guessed, potentially. Not really a shock after everything I've been through. But to hear somebody say that as well validated my feelings and made me feel that it was real and I wasn't going mad and that I was justified in reaching out for help. And instantly, and this is going to sound really, really silly, but I'm sure many others in my similar situations will actually agree here. Instantly, just getting that validation, somebody saying that what I was feeling is real, valid, and can be helped, and I can feel better, lifted a weight. So I started my journey with her, and yes, it was hard. Yes, talking about it and bringing up a load of things I hadn't dealt with was really, really hard. But it was a turning point because it really also helped. And it was at that point as well that I started working with a coach. And I'd looked around at coaches because I was at a point in my business where I needed help with the business. I needed help with my own confidence in the business and various other aspects. So I'd looked around at various different coaches. There was quite a few different coaches within the accounting world, accounting space, which I looked at. There was a load of business coaches that I saw online, or again, specific business coaches that people had worked with or recommended, but none of them seemed to quite fit. And it wasn't until I met my coach, Shelley, that I was like, oh, actually, this could be a good fit. And she was a mix between mindset and business, the two things I needed help with. So I started working with Shelley. And again, it was hard going at first, having to admit all of these things. But the more open you are with the people helping you, the more they're able to help you. So I knew it was a long-term benefit. So it wasn't long after we started working together that actually I was getting enough of what I needed with Shelley. So I didn't need to see my counsellor anymore. So I just focused on Shelley, and it's been amazing. And it really has helped me to see that asking for help is not a sign of weakness, it's actually a sign of strength. And that with that little bit of help, I've been able to turn my life around. And it's looking back now, I can see it, and I didn't see it at the time, but I'd got to a point in the business where I couldn't take it anymore. And me personally, where I was very low confidence, self-belief and everything. And I started working with Shelley, and literally within probably, well, I didn't see it for 2 years, but it was probably before then that you would have seen it, that others would have seen it. The difference in me and my business was tenfold in that 2 years compared to what I'd been like before. So my business had grown, it doubled in people, it doubled in turnover. My confidence was completely different. I was doing all these amazing things I never ever even dreamed would be possible. And it's only through working with her and the counsellor initially that I've been able to do that. So the reason I wanted to share this experience is because I think it's so important that we don't wait until we're at rock bottom to reach out and ask for help, because you don't want to be feeling like that. That was awful. Get help as soon as you think you might need it. Try and get help before you think you need it, but you're never going to do that, are you? Because we won't recognise that we need that help. But I'm sure you get what I'm saying here, that yes, it costs money to get help. Yes, it takes time. It's not an overnight process. I mean, I saw results fairly quickly, but it's only looking back now, the culmination of everything together. And I'm still working with Shelley now. She's already been told more than once that that's never going to stop. Because I see the benefit of it, and I see the return on the investment, money and my time putting into it. And it really has helped me to grow as a person, to be able to stretch my goals, to do things I never ever thought was possible, and to really live to my true potential, to reach and do all the things that I wished I could do. Yes, I've still got many things I want to do. Yes, I've got loads of goals, and I know with Shelley by my side, I'll be able to get there one day. And that's one of the reasons as well that I want to be there to help women in my situation, because I've been there. I've got that lived experience. No, I'm not a trained counsellor or trained coach or anything like that, but I've got lived experience. I've been there, got the t-shirt, unfortunately. So I can understand where others are at and help them to move forward and be that person that I wish I'd reached out to a lot sooner. But then I guess everything happens for a reason, and the reason was I was meant to work with Shelley, and Shelley wasn't doing it until a little bit before I started working with her. So yeah, things happen for a reason. But anyway, I digress again, sorry. I do that a lot, don't I? So I guess the message of this episode is asking for help has changed my life, and I highly recommend it to anybody else out there that's been through something similar, has had any trauma in their lives. Go and speak to somebody and ask for help, because I promise you, it may not work instantly. It won't happen overnight, and it may take you a little while as well to find the right person to help you. You may need to kiss a few frogs, as they say, but it will help you, and it will help to improve your life and to get you doing all the things that you dream of and would want to do, and even more. So I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. Last episode is next week, and that is with an incredible lady who has a fellow survivor who has done some amazing things as well. So I'm really excited to share her story with you next week. See you then. So I just wanted to quickly share something with you. My husband, James, and I are going to be running the London Marathon next year as part of Team Refuge. It's something that has been on both of our bucket lists for years, and to be part of Team Refuge and raise money for such an incredible charity is just an honour. So for those of you who don't know, Refuge provides specialist services to survivors of domestic abuse, and they also run the free phone 24-hour National Domestic Abuse Helpline, which I've got in the show notes below the details of. So if you are able to support us in any way, so either by donating or sharing our Just Giving page or just telling people about it, really, we would be so grateful. I've included the link to our Just Giving page in the show notes. Thank you so much in advance for your support. It really does mean the world to us. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I hope you've enjoyed it and found it helpful. If you'd like more help and support, check out the show notes for links to my website, socials and YouTube channel. Please subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and don't forget to share and tag on your social posts. And if you wouldn't mind leaving a review, I'd be really grateful. Thank you so much again. I just want to leave you with this thought. You are strong, you are capable, you are lovable, and you are brave. But most importantly, you are enough. You've got this.